Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer, joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Feeling good. Obviously, huge slate today. Lots of stuff going on. This slate has a little bit of everything. We're coming in riding high off of a nice small Monday card. So, like when things go well on a short card like that, there's just this one today. We're not going to be able to cover everything, right? But obviously, two different worlds in terms of slates on back-to-back days. There's just a ton here. So, let's get right into it and start getting through these injuries.
Yeah, definitely a lot to get into. Definitely a lot to talk about. That's what happens when you have so many games on the slate. Like you said, Jared, we'll start off the show like we always do. Oh, also props to you, props to me. Good stuff last night. Glad to see both our flag plants end up hitting and got a lot of spots right on the show, too. So it was a really good day overall, like you said. But let's get into today's slate. We'll start it out like we always do with injuries. And Jared, I'll let you go ahead and give your monologue here.
Yeah, so I'm going to just focus, at least for initially, I'm just going to focus on what we're currently waiting for, and then we'll fill in the gaps from there. So we do know that LeBron is questionable heading into this contest. We also know that Tyler Hero is questionable for a Heat team that has a very high implied team total. Jakob Poeltl is questionable for Toronto. VJ Edgecombe is questionable after missing yesterday. We also know that Maxi, George, and Embiid are not playing for the Sixers in that crazy game we'll get to. Kuminga is questionable for the Hawks in a nice game environment there, and Colin Sexton is also questionable today. Lots of probables on the Bulls end, so that could shake things up on what usually had been happening recently, which was they were just sitting like seven guys. So we might see Gideon Basalis back in action today. We also have a couple of things going on for the Pacers. We'll touch more on that when we get to their implied team total. But Andrew Nembhard is doubtful to play. Siakam's already out. And then we got a lot of Warriors news dump, so I'll just get to that here momentarily. We already know that Steph and Kristaps are not playing today. On top of that, Seth Curry is out. We also know that D'Anthony Melton is questionable. Gary Payton is probable. Quentin Post is questionable. And Will Ricard is not on the injury report after he did not play last night. So lots going on. What else? I mean, Memphis ruled out a bunch of guys yesterday. Some of those guys like Ty Jerome and Cedric Howard could play today. This slate's a mess, so I think we can kind of just go from there. If I didn't mention something, it's probably because it's not relevant. And the Kings, we'll get to them because that's an implied total situation. We'll cover it at that point.
Yeah, VJ Edgecombe could be back. We're waiting on that questionable tag. I don't know if you mentioned that or not. I was kind of briefly
Yeah,
listening.
in passing. It's kind of a weird spot.
Yeah, for sure. We know that Pritchard's going to be out for that Boston team. Feels like that could potentially be a big deal, though. Them with Tatum back has certainly been fun to watch. Karis LeVert is out. Oscar Thompson's still out. Norman Powell still out for the Heat. Khalil Ware and Andrew Wiggins are both out today, so that makes things really interesting for that front court for Miami. In a game where, like you said, they have a very good implied total today. Pascal Siakam back to being out. Andrew Nembhard's gone from being questionable every game. Now he's doubtful for this game, so I wouldn't expect him to be playing. Yeah, you kind of mentioned everything else. Just lots to keep up with here. But that's what you get when you got 11 games on the board.
Exactly. Yep. Other than that, like we'll keep you guys updated if things break, but that seems to be the majority of things going on right now.
For sure. All right, let's get into top implied team totals, Jared, and let's start out with the top implied team, which is going to be the Miami Heat, like we already mentioned. They have a 126.5 implied team total today. They are also 16.5-point favorites, so they're expected to tromp against this Wizards team. The total in this one is 237.5. Give me your thoughts on the Heat here.
Yeah, you kind of like that some of these guys are injured and not playing today in order for this to stay somewhat competitive or at least give value until things get out of hand. So with that said, it's not really a pace down game. The Wizards are still running sixth fastest in the league, so things are going to pop from a pace angle. There's a reason this game is totaled at 240, still with the injuries on both sides. We should also mention that Trae Young is not playing for Washington today. So that, I think that could make the spot worse, but it could also make the spot better. Regardless of the comments on that, it is a situation where everything's going to look good for Miami. So it's kind of finding which things look really, really solid at the most, like the most elite of the elite plays. And I think that starts with Bam, who does get an excellent restricted area situation. The Wizards have the worst restricted area defense per our model here in the recent data that we have pulled. And they also are giving up a lot of above the break threes. So you have guys that are clearly in fantastic spots. If Hero plays, he is in a monstrous three-point situation. I think Bam could actually benefit from there too. He's making a couple threes a game over the last 2 weeks, and that's kind of where the center of this conversation goes. If you're looking at the best spot for these highest implied team totals, I think on the card you kind of just have to start with Bam.
Yeah, definitely got to start with Bam here. Definitely feels like a solid spot. Tyler Hero also profiles well, but I think, like you said, you're looking for the most elite play that you can get here, and that happens to be Bam in this spot. With no Ware, no Powell, no Wiggins, he's going to get a huge boost in usage. Yeah, overall, really good spot for Bam. Really good spot for Hero, too. But I think the focus here is Bam at the end of the day. All right, anything else for Miami?
Can we buy into like a Hawkes spot? Can we they don't have backup fours really, or even a backup five behind Ware, right? Like I'm not going to say the first name, but it's Golden is the last name. He played 2 minutes yesterday. Like he's not playing in these situations. So do they just give Bam 36 plus minutes and we can't really use the rest of this take, or can we buy into Hawkes? What else can we look at here?
I think Vladislav will end up playing a lot of backup here. Like, I don't think they really have an option to not go with Vladislav Golden. So,
I think that in a blowout situation, it helps that spot more.
What do you mean?
Like, Golden will get probably 15 plus minutes if this game ends up getting out of hand. Do you think he's going to get 15 minutes regardless?
Yeah, that's kind of my point of view. Like, they don't have, like you said, they don't have anyone else to play the 4 or 5 when backups come in. So they kind of have to play him, whether they want to or not. Unless they want to go really small ball and play like Hame at the 4, which like they've done in the past. I don't think it's like the worst option ever. But like,
well,
I think Golden will get
Gardner back-to-back games of 15 plus minutes. So there's something there, I guess. But yeah,
I guess, but like you're talking about him playing the 4 and then like them not having anyone else to go. I guess Hawkes would be your 4 at that point. So I don't know. I think Vladislav will still end up subbing in for Bam when Bam's out because they don't have another center. Like I don't think you can play Gardner there. I don't think you definitely can't play Hawkes as a small ball center. I think Vladislav will end up being your guy. So I don't know. Like I said, that's very limited minutes though. And if it gets blowout potential, then maybe you see that creep up into like the 15s or 20s. But I think more likely you're going to see those minutes in the 10s for Vladislav Golden. Okay, anything else for the Heat? If not, we'll move on.
No. If you're listening back to this, it's like March NBA DFS first world problems. Just focus on Bam and Hero and call it a day.
Ain't that the truth? All right. We head over to our next highest implied team total, which belongs to the Atlanta Hawks here. They have a 125.5 implied team total. They're 10.5 point favorites. Over under here is at 240.5. It's risen pretty significantly, too. It was at 233.5 when it opened, now at 240.5. So this line has come up quite a bit. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about the Hawks here?
Yeah, I like the matchup overall. I do think that this game has chances to stay rather competitive. I know Atlanta's defensive rating has gotten better recently since the break, but I do think I can buy into some stuff from the Dallas side to keep things competitive where I can't say the same thing about Washington at all. So from that angle, I think this game has a chance to stay closer. With that said, it's a huge pace spot, like you mentioned, that is one of the main reasons why and contributors why the game total has skyrocketed recently since open. With that said, you basically just attack Dallas in the interior. The mid-range, the paint, and the restricted area are all zones that you can get by and absolutely have a great spot in terms of the highlighting situation. From there, we got to wait to see if Jonathan Kuminga is going to play in this one. But if you're looking for the second best play, I think you can go no further from Bam than Jalen Johnson, who walks into a beautiful spot. I know that some of these recent games for Johnson have been kind of a little bit all over the place, but I think I'm willing to buy in after a couple of games of consistent minutes from him and really consistent usage. So I know that Atlanta can be very messy when they are all healthy, but this is a great spot to trust in Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, the Jalen Johnson's play is really solid. Had a really good bounce back game against Philly. This is kind of a beautiful DVP spot. You want front court guys against
Yep.
Dallas. Jalen Johnson provides that. Onyeka also provides that. I think Onyeka has a good start in him as well. But yeah, you're focusing on fours and fives against Dallas, and that belongs to Jalen Johnson and Onyeka. So both of them find themselves in good spots. The Dyson Daniels, Nikhil Alexander Walkers of the world, I'm fine with staying away from today.
Yep, same. If Jonathan Kuminga does play, you can also include him there as the third option.
Yep, for sure. All right, anything else here? If not, we'll move on to the next team.
Nope, we can move on.
We move on to talk about the Sacramento Kings here, who have a 120.7 implied team total against the Pacers. They are 3.5-point favorites right now. Over-unders at 236.5. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about Sacramento?
Yeah, this game frustrates me. Both teams have really, really high implied team totals because their defenses are so bad. We didn't even talk about Sacramento on the injury side of things because they've had the same five guys out: Hunter, Sabonis, Cardwell, Keegan Murray, and Zach LaVine are all out. From there, like it's a situation where Indiana's just allowing a lot of paint situation. They're allowing a lot of mid-range stuff. Essentially the same thing as Dallas, right? They're just getting smashed in all of the front court zones, and they're not really allowing a ton of threes. So with that said, I think you're looking at a spot where like you're just trusting in Precious Achiuwa and Maxime Reyna, kind of the same situation that Atlanta is posing in on Dallas. I'm not as thrilled to take Malik Monk in terms of a 3-point spot. DeMar DeRozan is essentially like an afterthought at this point of the season for Sacramento. So you are trusting in guys that are playing March NBA basketball, and that's what you get with this situation. So Reynaud's been good all year. I'm not going to give him the March treatment, but yeah, that's kind of what you're doing with this game.
Yeah, Renaud's been really good. I really like his upside. I like the upside for Precious Achiuwa. I think we all should throw Russell Westbrook into the conversation. Like 40-plus fantasy points in 3 straight games, double-digit shot takes in 6 straight games, double-digit assist in back-to-back games. Saw his first triple-double of the year last night, or not last night, excuse me, and not his first triple-double of the year. He's had a few this year, but his first triple-double in quite a while was had against that Chicago team. You're kind of just looking for good matchups for Westbrook right now. Like, he can kind of expose these matchups just because there's so much usage going his way at this point. You also want him to be able to use his drives to the best of their ability and actually score in the restricted area and paint. And that's what he can do against this Pacers team, where they allow a bunch of points there, force him to take less above the break threes that he tends to get sucked into a little bit. And this is a really good spot for Westbrook. You can make the case that the Pacers might be one of the worst defenses in the NBA against the point guard position right now. So really like Westbrook. Really like Renaud. I think Renaud's like kind of takes the cake as the best scoring play here, but Westbrook has triple-double upside tonight.
We'll make sure to mention this. So I'm sorry if I steal your thunder on this, but to your point, second most points allowed, fourth most rebounds allowed, and third most assists allowed to the point guard position over the last 2 weeks. So we'll make sure to remember that. But yeah, the Westbrook spot's really, really good.
Yes, for sure. All right. Anything else here? If not, you want to cover one more team? You want to move on? Up to you.
I think we should.
Sure, we'll cover one more team. Let's cover the Minnesota Timberwolves, who find themselves fourth in implied team totals today at 119. They are 2.5-point favorites against the Lakers. Over-unders at 233.5. Give me your thoughts on what the Timberwolves bring to the table.
Yeah, I like some parts of this situation. The problem is that they are not an injured team whatsoever, and you throw Kyle Anderson on top of that, who is available to play tonight. It is a pace down spot technically. The Lakers have a exactly middle of the road defense as of late per our model, and from there, you're looking at a little bit of DVP stuff. You're also just looking at a situation where if you're looking at zone scoring, they do a really good job recently in terms of taking away 3-point matchups, and they're just getting destroyed in the restricted area, just given the lack of play from DeAndre Ayton, et cetera, putting Jackson Hayes in a backup center role. Yeah, I mean, you know this defense better than anybody. I hate these matchups where, yes, I get Anthony Edwards being in LA, and that has, a nice headline, nice storyline to get behind. But I just hate talking about matchups where you got really elite above the break 3 scorers against defenses that have stopped 3-point spots recently.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of iffy on what Minnesota brings to the table. Like you said, they're a fully healthy offense, which is something we don't have a lot of today, or a lot of at all in March usually. So they're
Yep.
kind of hard to break down in that regard. And then you have a spot where like Ant's kind of mitigated because of the fact that he might not do all that well from above the break today. This team has kind of also fixed a lot of their defensive woes. Like we were harping on the fact that they were allowing so many points to the small forward position, but that's kind of been fixed at least over the last 7 games, where they've allowed the eighth least points to the small forward position. They're
Yeah.
allowing peripherals still there, but like that's a huge improvement compared to their season long DVP number, which is worst overall. So we've seen improvements from this team. I'm pretty hesitant on Minnesota overall, though Ant could do his thing and just ball out, and I guess that wouldn't be the most shocking thing ever.
No, it would not. Doesn't really. He has a 15. Well, he only played in one of these games. These two teams played basically back-to-back games in the first week of October. I bring that up because Ant did have a 31-point game there in that spot. That feels so long ago, though. That doesn't really move the needle for me. I will just say, like, Julius Randle does have the revenge narrative, and that has played out pretty religiously. He has 26 plus points in both of those games against the Lakers this year. It's not going to line up really well in terms of recent DVP by any means, but at least there's something to say there. A lot of this was also from the playoff stuff from a couple of years back, actually just last April in general. So, yeah, Julius Randle has played well in LA. I don't know how much that matters tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Will say in games where Ant has played against top 10 DVPs this year when it comes to points, he has averaged 33.4 points per game. He has hit over 30 points in 67% of those games as well, Jared. He's had some of his bigger games of the season against really good DVP teams. So this Lakers team qualifies as one of those good DVP teams. Maybe you just see him pop off because he's just that good of a scorer at the end of the day. All right, anything else here? Oh, watch out for if LeBron plays or not. This team is playing like world better without LeBron James on the floor.
Yes,
So,
I did see
um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, the Lakers have, oh man, what's the stat? They have like 4 wins against teams with a 60% win rate this season. All 4 of those wins were without LeBron playing. So, this team is playing just massively better. They played really well against the Knicks. They played some shutdown defense against that Knicks team this weekend, and that was without LeBron. So keep an eye out. LeBron being out is good for this Lakers team, and it's really good for Reeves. Reeves gets his groove back a little bit, gets more usage, and we saw him kind of pop off one of his best games in a while against that Knicks team. So there's definitely some upside for the other side of the ball for both Reeves and Luka. Luka's kind of, well, I guess we'll talk about it later. Luka's in a really good spot. I'm sure it'll come up somewhere. Okay. Anything else here from a implied total perspective? If not, we'll head over to hottest shooters, Jared.
Yeah. One last thing, so I can probably just clip this and send it to whoever, because I know someone's going to ask both of us what we think about Ant threes at 8 p.m. tonight. I don't know what the answer is to that. That's my answer. I don't know.
Good
what it is, but
answer.
He's had 4+ threes in 7 of the past 10, 3+ threes in 9 of the last 10. It's not going to profile as a good spot. So if you're playing it just for pure entertainment purposes.
Yeah. Even head to head, it's not a good spot. Like, he hasn't really shot well
Yeah.
on threes against the Lakers either. So, yeah, even when they sucked last year, he wasn't shooting well on threes against the Lakers outside of the playoffs, which, is kind of just a different story. But, all right, let's head over to hottest shooters, Jared. Who do you want to bring up first in this category?
Well, hopefully we can get to more than 2 guys from yesterday. I will
yeah.
start by saying I hope this guy plays. His name is Tyler Hero. He has hit 4+ threes in back-to-back games, and we've started to just see he kind of just has had free reign the last couple of games. Now that Powell's not playing and a few of these other injuries have happened, he hit 8 threes against Charlotte, which was a bad three-point matchup a couple of games ago, and then Detroit, which has been getting worse and worse here recently, but still not something you'd call a prototypical great three-point spot. So 12 threes in the last 2 games. He's been getting the green light, and we mentioned the spot as being one of the best on paper in terms of three-point matchups. I think you can kind of expect Hero to ball out here if he plays.
Yeah, I could certainly get behind that. I'm going to go over to this spot where I think you could talk about a lot of guys for Portland, but I'm going to talk about Jeremy Grant, who has just kind of been on fire recently. We've seen 19 plus points from him in 7 out of the last 8 games. We've seen 20 plus points from him in each of the last 3 games. He has been on a roll, and I know this matchup against Charlotte's really tough, but someone's got to score. And I think that Jeremy Grant's kind of turning into their most reliable scorer at this point. So Jeremy Grant definitely deserves to have his name mentioned here.
Yes, completely agree with that. I will talk about the Phoenix Suns guys before I forget because I love their matchup today against my team. Grayson Allen gets the revenge narrative. He's hit 4+ threes in 7 of the past 9 games. Gillespie, 4+ threes in 4 of the past 5 games. They're both making over 3 pointers over the last 2 weeks from the above the break zone in general. So you got to mention those guys against Milwaukee's defense, who is the worst above the break 3 team in the league.
Can certainly get behind that. What else you got?
You want to talk about Luka now or later?
Let's talk about Luca later. I kind of want to use him as my round table guy.
Then I'll rattle off a few more because there are some interesting spots today from a trends angle. Reed Shepard, 3+ threes in 8 straight games. That leads the card. Nobody has more than 6 other than Reed. From there, RJ Barrett has 20+ points in 4 straight games. It's not going to come up otherwise on the show, but I got to mention that Wemby has had 4 or more blocks in 9 of the last 10 games, which is an insane stat. From there was probably one more that I'll bring up. Oh, Michael Porter Jr. is all of a sudden just balling out again. He has 40+ points plus rebounds in back-to-back games. He could obviously always sit, so keep that in mind. But yeah, that's a notable spot there for him. And then Jalen Duren, 29+ points plus rebounds in 7 of the past 9 games as well.
For sure. All right. Anything else here? If not, we'll head over to round table.
I did find one more, and that we have to give more to the Bam spot, but in the 4 games that he has played without Khalil Ware this year, he's had 20+ points plus assists in 3 of those 4, and the one that he missed was barely a miss anyway. So everything kind of lines up well for Bam, which is always terrifying on a slate like this.
Yes, for sure. All right, let's head over to round table. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays to the table to talk about. Those plays are in different statistical categories. Those categories are points, rebounds, and assists. We always start out with points. So, Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go to?
We'll go to this spot that has a little bit of. There's a few games that have some blowout risk today on paper. This is going to be one of them. So if you don't like this kind of situation, you can feel free to stay away from it. But I do think this is probably one of the reasons this game does blow out, and this guy should go off in light of that. So I'm talking about Jalen Duren. This is not at least from a DVP perspective, a good Cade Cunningham scoring spot. So what this is a really, really elite restricted area scoring situation for Jalen Duren. Not only have the Brooklyn Nets allowed the 3rd most points to opposing centers over their last 7 games, they're also just getting absolutely destroyed in the restricted area. And Jalen Duren ranks 5th in the NBA over the last 2 weeks from that zone. He's basically scoring double-digit points per game from that zone in that stretch of games. So I like that spot. There's a lot of elite scoring spots, and I do think that this needs to be included as one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Could certainly get behind that. I am going to this Luka spot. I am praying to the Lords that they will let LeBron sit out tonight. That way so Luka can take control in this game, because not only is it a really great DVP spot where Minnesota's allowing the 7th most points to the point guard position over the last 7 games, but also Luka has just torched teams when LeBron is off the floor. When LeBron does not play, and there's been 14 games this season where LeBron didn't play, Luka has gone over 33 points in 71% of games, Jared. He's averaged 35.4 points. And when he faced off against this Minnesota team without LeBron, it was a while ago. It was back in October, so, it's been quite a bit. But he had 49 points against this Minnesota team, Jared. So yeah. I think the sky's the limit for Luka here if LeBron can end up sitting. And we kind of just got to wait to see if that's going to be the case. So I do really like the spot overall. I probably wouldn't play it if I found out LeBron is going to play. But if LeBron is out, this is a full systems go type play.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I looked at the schedule. They play on Thursday and Saturday, and all of those games are at home. One of them is against Chicago, and then on Saturday they play at Denver. So you can kind of tell me which ones you think he's going to play and which ones he's going to miss. But
Fuck if I know.
yeah.
I don't know about him anymore. Maybe he wants to play against Chicago because Jordan talked about the GOAT stuff earlier. I don't know. That seems like a little bit of a stretch, but
That's a very LeBron-esque thing to do.
yeah, isn't it? Ain't that the truth? All right, rebounds. Where are we going, Jared?
The cop-out answer is Bam. I won't go there. What I do think this is a really, really good spot for Jabari Smith Jr. So from that angle, like the Toronto Raptors are allowing the fourth most rebounds to opposing power forwards over their last 7 games. And I know Houston's been relatively healthy as of late, so this can be kind of tough, but I kind of want to back Jabari Smith. Alperen Sengun's also in a good rebounding spot, so I can get behind both of those guys.
Yeah, I could certainly get behind that. I want to go to someone on this Chicago team, and I don't know who exactly. Fuck it, we'll go with Bucelis. I was between Yabusele and Bucelis here for quite a while, but both of them kind of walk into this great rebounding matchup where the Warriors are just giving away a bunch of rebounds to front court players. Bucelis has kind of been on a roll altogether, whether you look at it from a rebounding perspective or a points perspective. Ever since guys like Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey started sitting for this Chicago team, Matas Bucelis is kind of making himself known, like starting to be a differentiator. So even with Giddey playing, that has been the case for Bucelis. I like the spot overall rebounds. I'd probably go points plus rebounds overall, but Bucelis is a pretty good rebounds play here. All right, assist. Where are we going to go, Jared?
Yeah, just a note on that. We talked about the spot for Kyle Filipowski last night, and he hit the 20 RA ladder that we had for him. So it's a really, really good spot for front court players against Golden State right now.
For sure. All right, assist. What do you got?
You already mentioned Westbrook. We should mention it again just in passing. It's a really good overall spot for him. I do think this is something that I can buy into. I think we just take whoever is the point guard against the Bucks right now. And I think that you can go a couple of variety of ways here. You could go Devin Booker. You could also go Colin Gillespie. I think both guys profile tremendously well from that angle in terms of assists. And I'll say Booker just because I do think that his driving ability should be able to expose the Bucks' biggest weakness, which is their three-point defense. So I like Booker. I also like Gillespie. You can get behind both those guys. And that game is a 1-point spread, so you feel pretty good about the overall spot.
For sure. Can certainly get behind that. I am going to go to this spot for... man, tough pickings here. I'm going to go CJ McCollum. I know we didn't talk about guard. We talked about fading guard play for the most part for this Atlanta team. But this is a really good assist spot for whoever's going to play the point guard position. I think that should be CJ. At least that's what we've seen over the last few games, is that he's taken a big time assist role where he had 7 in the last game. He had 8 in the game before that, 5 in the game before that. Like ever since he slotted into the starting lineup, we're seeing a clear we're seeing him clearly focus on passing a little bit more. So I love this assist spot. Whoever's going to play point guard is going to do well from the assist angle. I think it's going to be CJ. Definitely could be Nah or Dyson, but CJ finds himself in a really good assist spot, especially after covering this line in 3 straight games too.
Yep, absolutely. Can we explore this Pacers point guard situation really quick? Because the DVP on the rebounds and assists, and even the overall PRA is phenomenal. Obviously, I think that the default answer here is this is gross. Just play Westbrook. But in the event that Andrew Nembhard does not play, we already know that T.J. McConnell is out. Do we just believe in Quentin Jackson as the overall point guard that's playing 30 minutes in this spot?
Isn't it definitely Cam Jones?
I mean,
isn't that the guy?
We have seen this situation. He's now getting a coach DMP a couple of times. Didn't play much yesterday or 2 games ago. So, yes, I would have said that a week ago, but I just don't know 100%. So
Fair enough.
I would like to believe so because I am a Cam Jones truther. But, what do you think here?
I guess I would have said Cam Jones too until I just saw that. I don't know. Good luck. Like, I guess if you want to
That's
go
why I
Quentin
said
Jackson,
this is just
you
gross by
can.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like even if Quentin Jackson is the guy, I don't believe there's a 30-minute role in store for him. I think the only guys who have 30-minute roles on this team are like maybe Jay Huff and Jarris Walker, and that's about it. Yeah, hard to pick apart. I would say just stay away most likely. Maybe wait for a starting lineup to get a better feel for Indiana as a whole.
Yeah, that's tough. It would be 9:30 Eastern time for that news. So good luck with
Yeah.
that. At the end
Have
of the day, if
fun.
you want something late slate, Luka is a phenomenal play, and I do think that Russell Westbrook's a phenomenal play too.
Nice. All right. Anything else here? If not, let's head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One.
Nope, we can move on.
Let's move right along and head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those player props into a parlay with our goal of the parlay to have odds between plus 100 and plus 150. Last night we fell short. Evan Mobley didn't come through. It was right. I think we got hooked, if I remember correctly, because I think he got 24. Yeah, pretty painful there. Regardless, we move on to today. Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
We didn't talk about the spot outside of just saying Peyton Pritchard was out, but I do like this rebounding spot for Jaylen Brown, who's already had 7+ rebounds in 8 straight games, and some of those games are with Tatum back as well, so you feel good about that situation. He has earned 15.5 rebound chances per game in the last 8, and it's a situation where, like, you can get it for plus money at 8+, and I feel pretty good about the entire spot. Over the last 2 weeks, the Spurs have allowed the 3rd most rebounds to opposing small forwards. I like the spot for Brown. I wouldn't play rebounds plus assists. That's probably going to be a Prize Picks most popular play. The Spurs have kind of held their own in terms of assists recently, so I'm in on the rebounds, and I think we can get a good price on that.
For sure. Let's go with 5+ there. I'm going to go to this Westbrook play that we've talked plenty about. The more that I talk about it, the more that I like it. Let's go 20+ for PRA here.
All right. We'll take a nice discount on the Luka threes department, so we'll go with 3 on that front.
Let's do that, and then let's see. What else do I want to include here? I kind of feel not a lot. Oh, I know what I want to do. Let's go with Jalen Johnson here for another combo play. Let's go PRA. Let's go with 30+ here. Not too shabby. All right, altogether, we have Jaylen Brown for 5+ rebounds, Russell Westbrook for 20+ PRA, Luka Doncic for 3+ threes, and Jalen Johnson for 30+ PRA. Altogether, get you plus 118, Jared. Not too shabby. All right, let's get out of here, man. Give me your final thoughts. What do people need to know about tonight's slate?
Yeah, I think the majority of the industry will probably tell you, like, yeah, everybody's going to be on Bam. He's in a phenomenal spot. Jalen Johnson's in a phenomenal spot. Hero's in a great spot if he plays. But I think that there's some underlying really, really strong situations here. Like we talked about Luka in the late night window. The Russell Westbrook play might just be like a top 3 play in general on the card.
Yeah.
You can make cases it might be better than Jalen Johnson just because of maybe some blowout stuff. Like the Heat guys, the same thing. Really like the guard stuff for the Warriors against Chicago, and you can extend that to the other side where you like the front court players against the Bulls. That's an interesting game. Like the 3-point scorers for Phoenix. There's a little bit of everything on this slate, and I think that a lot of the main sources of information and hot takes and whatever will be focusing on the Miami and Atlanta spots, and I think that there are some pretty good spots all the way around everywhere here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely good spots all the way around. Watch out for blowout stuff. Don't be too reliant on these teams that have blowout potential. Miami comes to mind. I know the Bam spot's really good, but there definitely is the blowout potential there. Cade comes to mind. I saw people talking about it in the chat earlier today. Like, Detroit definitely could win by 30 against Brooklyn. That's about it. I think you get a little bit of a blowout resistance once you get to this late slate stuff. Like, there's not a lot of games that have that blowout potential. Knock on wood. So we'll see. I definitely like this Sacramento spot a lot. I don't know what to do with the Pacers, but like Sacramento's one of these losing teams that suck a lot, but they're still giving their main guys 30+ minutes, which is kind of all you can ask for after seeing like what the Pacers and Grizzlies are trying to do with like giving each guy 24 minutes and trying to skate by with it. So yeah, I like the Sacramento spot. I really think you need to wait on this LeBron James news, which is sad because like you could very well be waiting until 10:30 tonight for that type of news to figure it out. But like I think you kind of do have to wait, and it's why probably Luka won't find his way, at least on my side, as like a flag plant or ladder, is because I wouldn't feel comfortable playing it without LeBron James being out. So something to keep in mind there. All right, you got anything else, Jared? If not, let's get out of here, man.
Nope, we are back to a small 6-game card tomorrow. Yeah, this one's, like I said, this one's got a little bit of everything in it, and you can really, really hone in on some strong spots here.
All right, man, let's get out of here. Thank you all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. We will see y'all tomorrow.